He was tops in the prelims on Friday night.
He's got some.
Dive orders brought to you by Country Companies Insurance, and Jake Dorsey will be first, followed by Pat Collins, both of Champaign Central.
It's a reverse one-half somersault in the pipe position. You can see he held his position real well.
Very nice dive for Jake Dorsey.
Very difficult dive, 2.5. And the scoreboard tells the story of all the awards. Pike position, leg straight, bend only at the waist. He looks for the water. Toes not pointed necessarily, but did a nice job.
There's Collins with a beautiful forward dive.
Yeah, difficulty's only 1.3, so chances are he's going to do a little better dive because it wasn't as difficult. And even scores 7s and 6s. Has 1.8 in there too. Pike position, forward dive, straight leg, straight body, nailed it.
What they do is the 2 highest scores and the 2 lowest scores are thrown out, and then they're multiplied by the degree of difficulty. Ivan with a reverse dive, straight position, degree of difficulty 1.8. That was pretty good.
That was pretty good. I just didn't think it was as good as we did, but that's why they're judging. We're sitting up here.
4 6s and 2 5s for Ivan.
And then reverse. A little bit of a twist there at the end.
Here's Seth Bradley from Peoria. Richwoods High School.
2 somersaults.
Degree of difficulty on that one, 2-2.
Almost went around for that third one. Looked like he kind of surprised himself.
4 6s and 3 5s for Seth Bradley.
You can see him step out of it there, and he has to have his hands at his side, otherwise he only can get 2 points, the maximum. So he got those hands down just in the nick of time.
David Leiker will do a back dive from the straight position. Degree of difficulty here, 1-7.
This is one of the required dives that he has to do. Low degree of difficulty. Chosen to do it early. And he's probably a little more nervous than he might be. Over a little bit, scores reflect that a little bit in 5s and 6s.
Yeah, watch where his feet land compared to his upper body. Probably the reason why for the lower scores.
This is Steve Hastings from Naperville North.
17-year-old senior will do a forward dive with a half twist from the straight position. This will be a 1-8 as far as degree of difficulty.
Steve Hastings, 5111, forward dive, half twist, straight position, 1.8.
Straight position. It twisted a little bit trying to turn to the end. Looked like a little corkscrew towards the end there.
And the judges agree with you there. 5 5s and 2 4s, so not the best numbers for Steve.
Actually, you can see the twist a little bit from this angle, too.
Greg Helland up next from Libertyville High School. He, too, is a senior. This will be a back dive, degree of difficulty 1.6.
You can see Pike, had a nice Pike there. That would look real good from my angle.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought that was an excellent dive, and the judges agree. 3 8s and 4 7s.
Look at this. Nice body position. Legs are just straighter as an arrow, and just nailed it. Takes it straight down to the dive, to the bow. Didn't have to save it at all.
Those are the judges for these particular divers, and here's Mike Mcgee. Forward with a 1.5 somersault out of the Pike.
Mike's from Hinsdale South. 1.7 degree of difficulty.
We are in round 1. Each diver will have 3 tries at it. Victor Paglia will be up next from Lake Forest, but first check out Mike's dive.
Well, Victor's one of the few sophomores on this event. He chose to start off with a very difficult reverse dive, a 1.5 somersault, and 1.5 twist in the free position.
2.6 degree of difficulty, and that's as tough of a dive as we've seen yet.
Now, look at this. He in control. Nice scores there. He's still got an 8. Actually, a wide range of scores. He had an 8 on the top side
in
and
there,
a 5,
too.
and a 5 on the low side.
You hear the St. Charles fans directly to our right here at our broadcast site, reading on Tony Maranacio.
He's doing a forward 1.5 somersault in the tuck position.
Pretty solid dive from Tony Maranacio.
Yeah, it was a solid dive. Didn't look like he held his tuck very long, but maybe that's the way he's been coached to do it. These guys are so strong and so powerful that if he'd held it much longer, he probably would have been over. Tuck.
5.5s and 6s, though.
Kicks right out of there. Good finish.
Now here's Sean Kiley from Lake Forest. Forward dive with a half twist from the straight position.
1.8 is the degree of difficulty on that. That's one of the required dives that they have to do in this round. And he's got 6s and a couple 5.5s on that.
Did get a 7 in there also.
And the little twist at the end takes it to the bottom. A little bit of a save underwater so he can keep his feet together and straight.
Mark Zabriskie, the final diver here in round 1. Junior from Niles North.
Doing a back dive in the pike position. Not exceptional, but real solid dive.
Yeah, 5s, 5.5s, and a 6 in there also.
I'm looking forward to Mark's dives at the end of this competition. There it is. It's just a solid dive.
Mark's happy with it.
Mark is happy with it. That concludes our 9th round. We have 2 more rounds to go.
Back to Jake Dorsey. He'll do a forward dive from the pike position. Degree of difficulty 1-3.
Nice.
Yeah, very near perfect. We'll see what the judges say.
Sevens and 8s.
8.5 also.
Nice job, Dave. Make you a diving judge. It was near perfect.
Fortunately, I can't even do a somersault on the ground. These guys are doing it in the air.
I think I've only seen 110 in my years of coaching.
Here's Pat Collins with back 1.5 somersault, 2.4 degree of difficulty.
Pat's currently in 3rd place.
Wow.
Nice. Backward 1.5 somersault. 2.4 is the degree of difficulty. He made it look easy.
Champaign Centennial has 2 representatives in Jake Dorsey and this man here, Pat Collins. Ivan Zavaleta with his second dive. That was a back 1.5 somersault, the highest degree of difficulty thus far at 2.6.
And he let it get away from him a little bit towards the end of the dive, and you can see his feet come over. Good position up to there, and then you can see that they kind of slide over just slightly. But in a dive like that, it's critical.
Here's Seth Bradley, currently in 11th place after round 1. His 10th dive overall and 2nd of the finals.
Now, as amateur judges, we kind of look at the entry and what the kids do in the air, but the coaches look at, and the diving judges look at the board work too. They see the poise on the board, how powerful they are leaving the board, and their approach to the dive as well. They look at the total dive from the time they start walking towards the end of the board till the end of the water.
Dave Leiker with his second dive in the finals, and that was a reverse 1.5 somersault with a 2.5 degree of difficulty, and his fan club appreciates the work.
There are judges, Bill George on the left there, and Jim Blickenstaff, longtime diving coach from Evanston High School. Over a little bit. Over a little bit. It always scares me. I think they're going to hit the board, but they know what they're doing.
Here's Steve Hastings from Naperville North. Back 1 somersault with a 1.5 twist, a 2.3 degree of difficulty. However, the judges didn't like it. 2s and 3s for Steve.
It looked like he started twisting right off the board. In the free position. There. And then we could see that he didn't get all the way around and vertical again.
Here's Greg Helen from Libertyville High School. He's 5th currently.
Well, there's an example. I think he kind of ran off the board. It looked like he ran off the board, and he was almost a little anxious.
4s and 3s for Greg Helen on his 10th dive and 2nd of the finals.
I think he got out there a little far, almost lost control of it.
Wasn't fully straight when he entered the water. Mike Mcgee, his second dive of the finals, a forward 1.5 somersault with 2 twists, 2.6. That's a tough dive. I don't know how you end up going in straight.
Yeah, they're so strong and so powerful that these are amazing athletes that I don't think unless you try to do what they're doing that you appreciate it. But you can see that he's twisting it. He's really trying to bring that twist around. Came out of a little bit early, and then was able to straighten it out as he went in the water.
Here's your leader, Victor Mejia. Inward dive from the pike position, pretty simple, but pretty solid from Victor from Lake Forest.
Yeah, it was a solid dive, and I think it was a leader because he had a real high degree of difficulty on the last dive. Now he had to come down and do his required dive here, doing the inward dive. Nice, solid.
Tony Maranacio, St. Charles High School. His second dive of the finals in 10th. Oh, excellent dive.
Nice job. It was good. The crowd liked it, especially the crowd that's sitting by us.
That was a reverse 1.5 somersault with a 1.5 twist, if that makes any sense. He made it look like it made a lot of sense. Tony did.
Nice job on that.
Here's Sean Kiley from Lake Forest. Back 1.5 somersault from the tuck position, a 2.2 degree of difficulty.
Sean's from Lake Forest. 4th current. He has a nice dive in the back 1.5 somersault dive that he stayed in good control of.
Only 4s and 5s though there.
Yeah, only 4s and 5s. From this angle, it looked better than that.
So Mark Zabriskie will close things up, but first one more look at Sean Kiley's back 1.5 somersault.
And now I see it. He kicked a little early and had to save it underwater.
Here's Niles North's Zabriskie, the junior. His second dive of the finals. That was a 2.4 degree of difficulty from the pike position. And you got 5s and 4s from the judges. As we complete the 10th round, and one more round to go as you look at Zabriskie's final dive of round 9.
It was a pretty solid dive there.
Round 10, beg your pardon, as Jake Dorsey gets set for his final dive.
We're going to see some amazing dives here. Here's one that he's second after 10 rounds. This is the highest total you possibly can do for degree of difficulty, 3.0.
Wow. That is a reverse 1.5 somersault with 2.5 twists.
Wow.
Now that's not an 8 or a 9. I don't know what is.
I don't know if it's 8 or 9, but it's a solid dive. Watch this dive again. Hit 7s, a couple 8s in there, but look at what he does in the air here. 1.5 twists, 1.5 twists.
What's
That's
the difference between that and a 10 or even a 9?
You know, I don't know. I don't know what it takes to be perfect in diving. As I say, I've only seen one in all my years of coaching.
Pat Collins currently in 3rd place, right behind his teammate Dorsey. Here's another 3.0 dive.
Look at that. That wasn't quite as good as Jake's, but it was a solid dive. That's a 3.0 dive too. Those are the only 2 divers that have this dive.
A reverse 1.5 somersault with 2.5 twists. Check it out again.
Yeah, check this out. You can tell the difference in the 2. Not quite as much control, but enough to be a real solid dive and keep it in the competition.
Ivan Zavaleta from Hinsdale Central, 2.6 here for his final dive.
Ivan's 8th here, and I think he's going to stay at about 8th or maybe move down a spot here.
2s and 3s for Ivan.
Watch coming off the board here. Its twist is not as solid and had trouble getting around. It's a difficult dive. Takes a lot of muscle control.
Senior Seth Bradley with his final dive. Richwoods High School in Peoria. Pretty good dive. Back 1.5 somersault from the tuck at 2.2 as far as degree of difficulty. And some 5.5, 6.5, and 6s.
Yeah, it was a nice solid dive, and he seems happy about it. But a little break in his position there. He looked close to the board.
Final dive for Dave Leiker. Come on, somebody smile.
How many kids have chosen to use that board over there? They all have a little bit different feel. David's chosen to use that one. Starts moving, doing his twisting, and before he gets off the board, judges might have taken off a little bit for that.
Still waiting for Dave's score to be posted. And 5s and 6, 1-6, mostly 4s and 5s.
Actually, both 4s are canceled out, and the 6 and one of the 5s is canceled out, so 5s.
Steve Hastings with his final dive from Naperville North. Reverse 1.5 somersault from the twist, 2.3 degree of difficulty.
Legs apart there, kind of running off on the takeoff. A lot of kids save their weakest dive for here, hoping that they even get here. And we started off with 50-some-odd divers yesterday, and we're down to the final 12.
Here's one last look at Steve Hastings' final dive of the diving event.
You can see his legs were apart there, and enough strength to get them back together.
Helen, a senior from Libertyville High School.
That was a good dive. That was a good dive.
2.5 degree of difficulty. Back 1.5 somersault with a 1.5 twist. And 4s and 5s, 5.5s for Greg on his final dive.
Very athletic dive, good technique there, and then need to save it a little bit, not quite over far enough. Needed another foot or two.
Let's go, Mark.
Put it in.
Mike Mcgee toes the board for his final dive. That was a back 1.5 somersault from the pike position, a 2.4 degree difficulty. Mike was in 10th place entering that dive and got 4s and 5s from the judges.
So he could stay there, maybe move up slightly. And if you see his feet were apart as he just entered the water. That's a great angle that we've got there.
3.0.
Here is the leader, Victor Paglia from Lake Forest High School. Reverse 2.5 somersault from the tuck. This is pretty good until maybe the very end there, but still, that might be enough.
Another 3.0 dive. Each one we've seen this afternoon has been a little bit, looks like a little bit weaker according to the judges. But I just admire these kids so much because they can attempt a 3.0 dive. Here's another St. Charles diver. Cover your ears.
Tony Maranacio with his final dive. He's a senior, and this is a 2.6 degree difficulty.
The concentration starts way back. Nice dive, Tony. 2.6 dive, degree of difficulty, but he really did a nice job on that. Judges gave him all solid 5s, 1-4 in there, but they were tossing that sucker out.
Good dive by Tony Maranacio. Gets congratulations from Mike Mcgee. Here's Sean Kiley, another Lake Forest diver, senior. There's a back 1.5 somersault with a half twist, a 2.1.
Yeah, he made it look pretty easy.
Got a 6.5 in there.
Yeah, he did a nice job of controlling that, and he, you know, it's a 2.1 difficulty dive, but he made it look like it's a 1.3. It did a nice job of putting that in the water.
So mostly 6s there as the top 2 and bottom 2 are tossed. Mark Zabriskie now with his final dive from Niles North.
It's everybody's final dive. This is it. Oh, boy, look close to me. Sorry.
But the classy fans with applause, and I think Mark knew it. 2s and 3s mostly for Mark on that dive.
I don't know if I can look at this a second time. It looks like he's so close to the board, but he's not. There's his finish. It looked like his head was going to hit the board. He was leaning in a little bit, and good thing we have a trainer on duty, I guess. But he didn't hit the board. These guys are real close to each other. They spend a lot of time in the summers together, and a lot of diving meets.
Well, Victor Paglia is getting congratulated by his fellow divers, and we've got the award.